What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ian here. We're doing part 2 of how to improve your ankle dorsiflexion or your ability to get your knees over your toes. In part 1, we talked a lot about the motion at the heel that needs to happen, or the calcaneus. We talked about that great cue of staying heel heavy, because being able to come back and start in a better position is going to allow our foot to move better as our shin translates forward, as our knee goes over our toes. Now, in today's video, what we're going to be talking about is our midfoot. Absolutely crucial, something that's locked up on so many people. As we talked about before in part 1, a lot of people are so obsessed with, I need to have a high arch. I've been told my flat feet are so bad for me. And what we want to think about is, hey, you actually need that arch to spread as your knee translates forward. Again, another thing that we mentioned is pronation, or the spreading of the foot, the spreading of the arch, is not the same as it collapsing inward. So let's get that out of the way. When we come forward, remember we talked about the tipping of the calcaneus. We talked about the rolling of the outside to slightly on the inside of the calcaneus as it goes forward. Remember, calcaneus is heel. When our shin comes forward, there's going to be a rotational component too. So there is a little bit of this, that internal rotation of the tibia, and there's even a relative external rotation down here. As we go forward, we want to see that the foot is able to spread out. How do you know that the foot isn't pronating well? Well, a couple of different ways. We talked about if the heel doesn't move, that's your first one. Your second one, if you see the tendons and everything through the front here grabbing, like you see them actually moving and you can see it on yourself, or you feel a hard stop. That means that the first stop on that train track, which needs to happen at the heel, probably didn't happen. If that did happen and the second one is still getting stuck, maybe your shin's getting stuck here, then you know that you're probably not getting good movement at the midfoot. So the third way that you can see that is losing the fifth metatarsal, or the outside of the foot. A lot of people will do what's called an orientation, or I like to call it paddling, or just your whole foot chunks together. And as you move forward, you'll get this to happen. And when that happens and this part of your foot lifts up, you'll often see it look like instability as someone's maybe squatting. They kind of get a little unstable and this lifts up. That means you're missing what's happening at the midfoot too. The other fourth one, bonus point that we'll talk a little bit more in the future, is if you see yourself going forward and your toes are going crazy, they're gripping the ground, they're crunching, something on those earlier stops on the train probably didn't happen also. So let's talk specifically about what does happen at the midfoot. It's very important that when you think about pronation, when you think about that second stop on the train, that you're thinking in both directions. What do I mean by that? A, your heel is literally going to move away from your toes. So there is a spreading of this. Plantar fasciitis, the bottom of my foot hurts. It feels tight all the time. Sounds like someone who can't do this, right? So you see how it's kind of a blanket diagnosis, but essentially you're not able to really spread that part, especially from here to here. Now, like I said, it's also really important to think in this way. Remember, this is a model, obviously, so your foot's not going to spread that much, but just to show, these bones need to move away from each other in this direction too. So you can get pronation to occur, calcaneus rolls, shin continues, foot spreads out. It's going to spread in this way, and that way. It's also, a final point, a rotation. So we're rotating. It's not this straight linear thing. There's movement and rotation happening at all these joints as we come through. And we want to be able to see that foot achieve that length. Lastly, I know I said it before, but just to be super clear, pronation is not a collapse inward. We don't necessarily lose the outside of the foot. We just shift weight inside. I'll put the link below for a video about the tripod that goes even more in depth on that. And you can see again, we're not losing this. So we're maintaining our tripod. Our foot is just spreading as the shin goes forward. As the shin goes forward, we get the spread. As it comes back, we get the high arch. So think about it like this. This is the best. When it goes forward, it spreads. When it comes back, it comes up. And then once we finally leave the ground with our heel, if we're walking or running, it's going to resupinate. So you're going to get that arch to pop back up. That's what springs us forward efficiently. That's part 2. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Share this video with someone who you think it will help. If you want to know more and about the strategies to do this, if you're a coach or a trainer, definitely check out Mobility Coach Plus, or you can even just go for just the foot stuff, which is our mini course. We'll link that below. And if you're someone who just wants to work on your feet and figure it out, you can go with our follow-along classes on the EVM. We'll link those below. First one starts off hello heel. Then we have the midfoot. We have pronation, supination classes. There's so much good stuff on there, all in a progressive manner. Like, comment, share. We'll see you next time.